Well, joining me now is Kelli Fairbrother. She's Chief Executive and co-founder of the UK-based audio book xigxag. Kelli, good to see you this morning. Is it over egging things to say that Apple and Google are running App Store monopolies?
No, I think that's a pretty fair description. Yeah, they're using their dominant positions in mobile operating systems to insert themselves in my transactions with my customers, both in forcing me to use their in-app distribution or their in-app payments and their only app store, which is the only one they allow on their apps.
So how much do these app stores clip from your earnings?
Well, on every transaction, they take anywhere between 15 to 30%, depending upon how big you are as a company. And just to put that in perspective, versus just a traditional online payments service where you'd pay anywhere between 1% and 4%.
Yeah, I mean, for a young startup, I mean, that's potentially the difference between profit and loss, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And you heard just your guest before on, the power of the scrutiny that investors are taking in terms of unit economics and gross margins. And so, yeah, that can also impact your ability to access funding.
And apart from taking away a chunk of your earnings, do they impinge on you in other ways? I mean, do they inhibit the way that you can run the business?
Well, I think, it forces you to make some decisions, like how do you want to serve your customers? It could cause you to want to raise your prices in order to fund, in-app payments. It causes a lot of companies to siphon customers off onto a web-based experience to then enjoy or redeem in the app, which customers don't understand, and it's just not a great experience for them.
I mean, I should actually say to viewers, you're actually being quite brave in sticking your head above the parapet. A lot of tech companies are pretty reticent to talk about this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. We're part of the Coalition for App Fairness, which is a consortium of about 70 companies who all are in a similar position to us and want to see a free and fair operating of the mobile app ecosystem. And a lot of people are scared that these Apple and Google exert a great deal of power and authority in terms of where you show up in the rankings, whether your app gets approved, and whether you're even on the App Store. And if they revoke that, that's half your revenue gone overnight. So it's quite high risk, high stakes.
Absolutely. So are you fairly optimistic about this bill going through Parliament?
I'd say it's an important first step, but we, along with the Coalition for App Fairness, are working hard with policymakers and regulators to ensure that this is just a first step, that the Digital Markets Unit has the authority it needs to protect consumers and enable competition in this space and allow more choice for us, particularly in the in-app payments and app distribution generally.
And how does the UK shape up with other jurisdictions in terms of how it's addressing this issue?
Well, I think what's great is that it's on the agenda of a lot of the different companies, both the EU and the US, and I think the governments are trying to figure out how they can actually get involved. You've seen different activities happening in the Netherlands and South Korea. And then, you're also seeing the backlash from some of the tech players. So it does feel like they're not going to do it voluntarily. So it's really important that the governments are taking a stance to try to enable a fair playing field.
But with regard to the UK, you must have taken some comfort from the fact that the Competition and Markets Authority has just blocked Microsoft's takeover of Activision. I mean, that shows that they are not afraid to take on the really big guns of the tech world.
Yeah, I think that was a surprising development, I would say. And, I'm not really in that space, so I can't really comment on the detail. But yes, as a theme of, willingness to stand up to big tech, yeah, we welcome that, I would say.
All right, I'm afraid we're a bit pushed for time this morning, Kelli, but it's great to see you. Thank you.
Cheers.